Oh, you saw me coming. I was gonna say, you wanna go for a walk? Yeah, I know. Let's go. So Gage is feeling better today. We went for a Suron ride yesterday. That's because I didn't want him in the bush. Well, I see bare roads. So, I have an idea. We're gonna do a cheater walk. There isn't enough snow back on the trails to go through the swamp anymore. So, it's time to go for a Suron ride. Lube the chain, that's important. See if it'll start. Oh yeah, purring like a kitten. It's electric, what were you expecting? The day we went and found the log cabin, a couple days back, I think he scratched his eye. Because when we got home, I noticed his eye was really running. And having gone through that myself, you know, the week before I scratched my eye and I had to go to the optometrist twice. I thought, oh, poor guy, he never complained. But I know it was bugging him because he was blinking and it was running a lot and it was really red. So I kept an eye on it over the last 2 days. I had drops. I have a friend who's a vet, and quite often she'll tell us, you know, the same medications that my wife gives to humans, she gives to pets. So I'm pretty well stocked in terms of, I had all the eye care stuff, and I thought if his eye is still bugging him today, it's the weekend, I can't bring him to the vet. The vets are actually closed. I would just put some of those steroid numbing drops in there if my friend said it was okay, but it didn't come to that. Actually, he woke up this morning, I looked, his eye isn't watering, it's much better. So I'm gonna keep track of it, or I was gonna say keep an eye on it again. I caught myself. So we've talked about Gary's theory on migration. You guys have spent all winter with me out here hiking the trails, trail cameras out here. And you guys know as well as I do, I hope you do at this point, that our search for Bigfoot leads to nothing in the winter. There are no tracks, there's no physical evidence. Now we do get other knocks and things. I don't know what does that, I can't say, okay? Do I really want to get into the paranormal side of this? No. But let's just say in terms of an actual physical creature, I am 100% ready to say, I was almost ready to say this before we did 2 years of research, but you got to put in the time, and I'm ready to say now, they're not here in the winter, right? Nothing could spend the amount of energy that it would take to survive with 3.5, 4 feet of snow up here. There's nothing to eat as well. You know, the deer all move out. There's very few animals here. There's no plants here. So unless you're hibernating underground or in a cave system, they're not here in the winter, guys. I'm sure of it. As sure as I can be of anything about Sasquatch, I'm sure of that. They are not here in the winter, and I will equivocally state that in this video, okay? That is my theory, that they travel out of here, okay? That they move where the food moves and where it's warmer. So if they migrate, at what point do they come back? That is the next question. Things are starting to warm up. We have lost 2 feet of snow. The rivers are opening up. So animals are usually ahead, right? They know these things are coming before humans do. They sense the temperature change. If you look at your pets, they start shedding this time of year. Even though things haven't really changed, they're just starting to. They know, they're preparing, they're getting ready. So animals that are migrating, We actually have some geese starting to come back. So at what point do these things come back? That's my question. And I think they move through here. They don't stay in this area, as I've said before. Too many humans here. They would move through here and go back to the north, 500 kilometers north of here, hardly anybody. So why would you stay here? You would use this as a route to just move through. So coming into spring here, I want to get the parabolic dish out and recording. I want to see, I want to hear evidence, right? Screaming, howling. Are they moving through here? I don't know. I wonder about a lot of things. Bugs, okay? If you're not familiar with Northern Ontario bush, it can drive you actually insane. The amount of bugs that are up here is no joke. There are times in the year when we don't go outside. We don't go camping. The end of May, we have black fly season. Those are the little, they bite, you bleed, you will take thousands, literally thousands of bites. When we go fishing in the spring, when we were kids, I would come home in my arms, there wouldn't be 4 millimeters of space left that didn't have black fly bites on them. Arms, face, anything that's exposed. And that lasts about a month and a half. We go directly from black fly season into mosquito season. The mosquitoes are just as bad. We do have fires out here at night where we sit around, and they will be so bad some nights, they drive people away. We're going home, we're not sitting here, we're not staying here. So if you're familiar with camping in Northern Ontario, and there are places in the States, the same elevation as we are, you guys know bug season is for real, it's no joke. Then we go from mosquito season. Mosquitoes don't end, they keep going right through till the end of August. We hit around here what's called deer fly season, and they're about the size of a fingernail. They're a little bit bigger, and when they bite you, they take a hunk out of you. And then they have a bigger brother called horse flies, okay, which are the big monsters, 2 centimeters long. You can see those things coming, but once in a while you'll get one land on you when, if you're swimming or something and you don't notice it. And when that thing bites you, So I'm just curious, I'm just wondering. We see moose, we see deer, all of these things up here get driven out into the open areas along the edge of lakes, along the edge of marshes, along the edge of highways. And we have seasons where you can't go from here to Temiskaming, which is 45 minutes into Quebec where our camp is. You'll see 10 moose on the side of the highway, and they're all trying to get out of the bugs. That's how bad the bugs are. Why does nobody ever see Sasquatch? Right? Like, I have these questions that make me doubt. Is he taunting you? Eh? Nice looking little red squirrel. Gage's favorite snack. Friend to play with. All I know is that we live in prime bush, prime forest, okay, up here, that if there was a creature that existed, it would be here. Low human populations, vast tracts of land where you could skirt around cities and towns and not be detected or seen. You could use roads and travelways at night, which would account for some of the reports by truckers and things, right? Hey, if I'm Bigfoot and I can walk 20 miles on the edge of a highway and hear a car coming, and just jump off and hunker down in the bushes for a second till it goes by, 2 o'clock in the morning when there's nobody around, I'm gonna do that because it's easy walking, right? So that could account for some of that stuff. But I have to ask, why no trail camera? You can't tell me, I will never be convinced that a trail camera cannot capture Sasquatch. I don't care how many people say, oh, they can see infrared. the point is, there is no infrared until the camera clicks on and starts recording you. We can set it for daytime mode where there's no infrared on some of these new cameras. It'll just take a picture in intervals, right? It has no sensors on and working. It's just going to take that picture. So if something's walking by or out across the swamp 100 yards away, you're going to see it. And we still don't get any of that proof. So I guess I'm just ready to say, as a biologist who teaches biology at the local college, and consider myself a smart man who hunts, traps, fishes, camps, spends his life out here in the bush, dedicating all this time. You know, I put up with a lot of crap from friends and other people, family. Why? What? You know, what are you doing? You look like a fool. No, I'm interested. I want to see. I'm open-minded. But I honestly have to say, guys, in terms of winter, I'm 100% ready to say they're not here in winter. You know, did what I heard 20 years ago, was it a cougar? We're not supposed to have cougars up here. Could it have been? You know, they are actually listed now, 20 years later, as species at risk in Ontario. So there is proof now. It has been proven that we do get occasionally a cougar that comes through here. We had people many years ago when I was a kid saying that they had seen them in the little town that I grew up. Oh, there was a big cat with a big looping tail behind it. You know, what else could it be? That would have to be a cougar. 100% I believe that is true. We can get a cougar up here. When I was a kid 20 years ago, I would have told you no. Everybody I talked to, everybody said there are no cougars up here. I actually know a personal friend who says they saw one themselves, and I believe they did. And there are pictures. There is the odd, rare bit of proof that there are wild cougars that come through Ontario occasionally, which is why they're now listed as a species at risk here. Things aren't looking good for Mr. Sam Squanch in terms of proof. It's like the cartoon I showed you guys at the beginning of this video. Right? You got two sides of this. We don't get any proof at all, or it's blurry, crappy, low quality photos. And if somebody does bring something to the table that's clear, everybody says, oh, it's too clear. It's no good. So then I guess we do have to talk about the possibility that this is not a flesh and blood creature. And I'm still 95% on the side of it is a flesh and blood creature, okay? There is something else that goes on out here in these woods. The sounds, the screams, the knocks, the weird lights and things that we've captured, and I'm going to say that has nothing to do with Bigfoot. I personally believe, my opinion, that has nothing to do with Bigfoot. If I had to guess what that stuff is, I think that's paranormal spirit activity of some kind, because we get voices on recordings, okay? I can't explain that. If it's not spirits, what else is it? Speaking English that we can hear on the cameras, on my security camera at home, and then all the crazy stuff Grant does now. I don't even want to get into that, but because that blows my mind, and I begin to wonder after watching so many of Grant's videos, am I crazy? I hear the words that he puts up on the screen. I don't agree with all of it. Half of it I don't hear. And you have to make sure you have headphones on if you're watching his videos. If you don't, you're going to be like, this is crazy. But if you put headphones on, you can hear actual sentences being recorded coming out of his kitchen sink, the water, the white noise. That's crazy. I don't even know what to think about that. But we get the same thing happening out here in the bush. And for all of you that are going to complain because you didn't get to see your Gage, come here, buddy. Say hello to everybody. That's growling, that's not hello. He means well. Upcoming this week, Stan and I are going to go on an adventure. It'll be about another month before we can get metal detecting. We still have 8 inches to 10 inches of snow here in the bush, but the ground is frozen. That's mostly what's going to stop us. But that doesn't mean we can't get out and look at some places we have in mind. And one adventure, I don't know if this is what we're going to do or not, because I told Stan it's going to be up to him. He's going to decide the adventure, and I'm just going to show up. There's some old stone walls that Stan has been after after me trying to show me these for the last couple years, and we just haven't had time to get out there and do it. It's one of those places I don't know how much metal detecting we would do anyway. Maybe if we find a clearing or some kind of foundation we would. But we'd like to get out there and see if we can find any of that stuff first. And of course, when it's a Stan hike through the bush, it's an all-day thing, right? Stan likes to go. So we'll give him that. Stan has no problem walking 10 miles in a day and never taking his detector off his back. If I go, I want to swing the detector usually, but we can't this time of year. So it might be the perfect time for me to hook up with Stan and just go for an all-day trek and get him to show me what he's been talking about. Now these old stone walls up here, we have tons of history, right? 350, 400 years of colonial history here in Northern Ontario. These stone walls wouldn't be any newer than 100 years. It just seems to be, you know, when the settlers were coming in, that's what they did back in the day to mark their piece of land. They cleared the fields, they made the walls, keep out, this is my property. And in the last 100 years, guys haven't really done that anymore, right? It's all been surveyed, and you get a titled piece of paper which says here are the actual markings of the edge of your territory, and they didn't have to build stone walls because it's a ton of work to do that. So we know that it's older properties that we're going to be looking at. The last thing I'll update you guys on is the plan to get you guys onto a commercial-free channel here. And as I kind of predicted, this will be the last update for a while, okay? Because I want to see what's going to happen with Google AdSense and these new taxes they're going to put on foreign channels. As it stands right now, we have 31 of you guys signed up. So 23 the first day and 8 the second day. Kind of fall off a cliff as I knew we would. That's okay. And I've told you guys in the last video what I'm going to do for those of you that signed up. I truly appreciate the support. Either way, you guys would cover about a 10% loss in tax revenue. So we're just going to say, no matter what happens, we're going to go on forward with this. Now, if they hit me with a 30%, whatever tax is called, I don't know what it's going to be called, we'll reassess at that point. But we're not going to stop making videos. Either way, I have too much fun doing this. This is what I want to do, right? I love sharing. I love getting out and doing the adventures. And we're not going to let that stop us. So that's our update. I will update you guys again in June when we actually figure out, when we get a note from them saying what it is they're going to do and what it's going to cost the channel and what the ramifications of that are going to be, okay? But until then, everybody, click on that PayPal donate button and help us out. There's one on the banner on my YouTube page, and I've also put the same button on unfrequentedworld.com, which is where you can buy digital prints. If you look, there's a page on there that tells you all about ordering that. I'm not sending out hard copy prints right now, especially with the borders being closed due to COVID. We're doing digital only, and all the instructions are right there, easy to order. You just email me, tell me which one you want, make the PayPal payment, and then I send you a digital full high-res 42 megapixel digital print that you guys can print up to canvas sized prints, okay? Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate all the support, and we're going to be back this week, as I said, out trekking with Stan, so stay tuned for that.